on E, just on the E vowel. And really very metric, not expressive at all. And say E, 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 ah.
E.
Yeah.
E.
And when you're singing, it sounds like yeah.
E.
E. Yeah,
E.
just back of the tongue. And. Okay, are you still on E?
No.
Yeah. You can make the E more and more concentrated as you go. Okay, and there's a difference between and really slidey, okay? Really slidey. And think of the straw. Think of that, what that exhalation is. And easy. What? E? E. Yeah, and. Okay, and start it with the Z. 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 Good. So the first three notes were fantastic. This is the kind of pedantic work. It's golden. It doesn't sound like much, but it's golden. The first da 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 da, brilliant. What are you pushing to get to the da? Yeah. It doesn't work, does it?
No.
Yeah. But it's like you're changing vowels. Yeah. Okay, we're getting there. Trust me, I did this so many times I can't even tell you. Yeah, this is like, I'm looking at him, 20, 30 years ago. Okay, same thing again. And give it to me. Do you hear where you break off?
Change,
Yeah, you hear that. Much better. We're almost there. Now, activate what you're doing. Don't try and find it, right? So it's you're thinking about it. Out here, it's be like, imagine your vocal cords are happening out here, okay? And they're going E. Ready? And send it. Activate, spin, E, E. Yeah, okay. Feels better?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Now, shake it off. Yeah, shake it off. Same thing.
Right,
And chords are out here. And let's go. Come. E. Yeah. Now, keep going. Okay, wait. Okay. Did you see what you did? Yeah, but as I said, keep going, and you went, okay, well, I have to sing again. No. So we're just phonating on E. Here. Out here. Activate, set. Here. Go. Oh, yeah. Yeah, keep going on this. Same thing. Chords are out here. What's your vowel? Yeah. Chords are out here. E. Go, send your breath. Spin. Words. Out here. Go. Words. E. Out here. Words. E. E. Oh, yeah. That's kind of cool.
Very ringy.
It's very what?
It's very ringy.
I like that. Yeah. What it's starting to do is it's starting to homogenize.
Yeah.
And
It feels
it's
smaller and more.
we're starting to get
focused.
into the core of the sound. You know?
Yeah.
It's starting to go more in the core and a little bit less diffused. You know?
Yeah.
Which is really good. You feeling any pressure or anything?
No, it's actually less pressure, just more focus.
Yeah. But you're not putting it there.
No, I'm just letting it go
Yeah.
instead of trying to make it.
Yeah. When we try and make the sound, 99.99999% of the time, it's much less than what our body normally knows what to do on its own when we get out of the way. You know, when we just let it release and be what it is. It's also 99.99% of the time almost impossible to actually really achieve that. Because, you know, we're trying to sing and express and make and do all this stuff. And we have to go through all of that. But it's also when we can always come back to just that core of pure sound, total release. It doesn't have to be about making music or being Cinderella right now.
Yeah.
Just come back to that core. Then your body and your voice aligns and the breath aligns and it knows sort of exactly where to go, which is really kind of cool. And it's also, I'm throwing stuff at you so you can't think too much and also can't hold on to something.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Can we go on like this?
Yeah?
Or do you want to try that again? Just get another run at it.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Does this help you out here, thinking of it
Yeah.
out here? Good. So don't be active in letting it phonate out here, not just direct it, but really imagine that your voice is phonating out here. Okay? Let's start on E.
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 Okay, and here,
E.
and every note, go, E. Yeah, now just imagine it is one pitch that you're singing. Imagine it's one pitch. So it's all mental work. One pitch, okay? But you have to activate more. You have to send the breath.
Okay.
Really like a laser beam, one pitch. Almost, yeah? Go. Ah. The end was right. Did you feel that?
Yeah.
And did you hear at the beginning you were, okay? Try it again. This gives us the legato. This gives us a voice that is just expansive in every direction. Yeah. Don't change with the pitch, okay? One note. The change is happening in your brain. Okay, yeah. Go. Just keep feeding it. Try one more time. Opening was great. Okay, and Phonate here. Yes, yes. Yeah. Go, 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 go. Do you feel how smooth that is? It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's a lot of concentrated work.
Yeah.
You guys feel how that's just now starting to become smooth? Really smooth.
Yeah, it's way less work.
It's also way better legato. I mean, it's a little, we're a little bit like, it's not very fun to do that, but this has a real purpose. Yeah. Again, it's technical work. That's all it is. But in order to get to that end where we can express anything, anytime that you want, this has to be the foundation.
Yeah.
Yeah? You feel how easy it is?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would work this way a lot on whatever vowel. Sliding, but just see what it feels like like trombone, right? It's all connected. Okay. It's all connected, and it's kind of connected in this way,
Yeah.
You want to try that again?
Yeah.
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 I do too.
Okay.
It's so good. Okay, but what's your vowel?
E.
Yeah, easy. You start with a Z if you want, which kind of grounds you. But where's your phonation happening? Yeah, and how many notes are you going to sing?
1.
Yeah, let's go.
Z.
But put the Z on the same place where the E is. You went Z. Yeah.
Z.
Phonate. Send air. When you have those, that was just gorgeous. That was just free and gorgeous. The thing is, when you have those kind of intervallic thing, how do we lessen that space? Right? It's all just there. It's all just one. Okay, so let's break it down. This is just technical work. It's the process, people. Let's not look at it like that. Make that feel like one note. Yeah, let's sing it. One note. Don't go up and down for it. So for me, if I'm trying not to drop for something, I have to think over. Yeah, that's how you're going to work that. Okay? Now you're going to have to coordinate it a little bit with what your breath is and all of that too. But that's you start to feel how that's evening out. That's the direction to go. Yeah. And that is how you have to rehearse and practice and work on the entire thing. Yeah. Make sense? Yeah. It's exciting though. Can we do come and and see if you can just mentally, whatever comes out. I don't care what comes out. I cracked 3 times on this aria when I was finishing the Houston Opera Studio in front of all the donors who had paid for my way for that season. Cracked 3 times. So it can't be worse than that. So just whatever, just try whatever, but just sing. and just make it, if you can feel like this bow and arrow, like it's all one gesture, all one note, and you're not changing notes. Sing it, phonate, be active, be a conductor with it. Don't be safe.
Okay.
And just see what it comes out, the come.
The first
Okay?
or the second?
Hmm?
The first or the second?
The first. We're going to do both. But you're phonating out here, okay? Right here. And one note. Go. One note. Keep it on the same line. Phonate here. Same thing. Keep it right there. Yes. Now you're phonating out here. One note. Right here. Same thing, just sing shot. Right here. One note. Oh, that's so lovely. It's so lovely. Yeah?
So okay.
Yeah. It's definitely up there.
Very useful.
Yeah. You might feel a little lightheaded, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's up, and it's not here, and it's also not up and down and up and
Yeah.
down. It's going
Yeah.
much more in that one direction. And it's easier, yeah?
Way.
Yeah. It's beautiful. And then the resonance starts to come in as it comes in, because we're not putting it anywhere. We're not forcing
Yeah.
it in any way. And then the quality of your voice starts to even out, and we hear more of you, your quality, which is the most interesting thing about any of us. That I'm you and you are, that I'm me and that you are you. And that comes out. It's beautiful. Yeah. Feels good?
Yeah. Feels really good.
It's
so easy.
We like that.
Or light, at least.
Yeah, that's good. That's awesome. That's Cenerentola. You're amazing. Guys, cool. I have to tell you guys, I know I do what you do, but it's so different from this perspective, because when I'm doing it, I'm doing what I've trained to do and what I love to do. But when I observe it from the outside, I'm just blown away at how courageous and brave you are, because they're putting themselves completely in somebody else's hands and completely naked and opening and trying. And you know, when you're very emotional and your voice is stuck here because you're trying not to let it out, to release that as a human being is huge. And to release it in front of live human beings is just huge. And I'm so humbled to work with you guys and appreciate you being so open and responsive. And it's so fun to hear you clicking with it. It's so cool. We've got some time for questions, and then some of us have to run off to the ball tonight. I have 4 dates to the Opera News Gala ball tonight. I'm so excited. So we're gonna split right afterwards, but we do have a little bit of time for some questions. And I think, Claudia, can I introduce you officially? I should have done this yesterday, but this is Claudia Friedlander, and you're the angel of this whole project, because she sifts through all the applications from we had something like, how many countries?
47 countries.
Yeah, 47 countries applied, and hundreds of singers, and you went through all of the audition tapes, and you respond to everybody.
I write them feedback on their auditions.
To give them feedback. it's a lot of work because it's impossible to know who to choose. And it really is, you send me a fantastic smaller selection, and then it's not a matter of who I love or hate or who I think is better or worse. It's who I think I can maybe really connect with and offer some things to. But you do the bulk of the work on that, and it's just amazing. And you write books, and you do audition handbooks and all of this. You're amazing. So thank you.
It's my great pleasure to help with this project.
You're amazing. I just love it. Do we have a question? Okay. We can take a few questions. I think Claudia's fielding some from online. #AskJoyce. But if you do have a question, we probably have time for, 4 questions or more or less. Depends on how personal they are. But it's good if you can make your way to the microphone. And then all the folks in TV land, hey, can hear.
Well, out in TV land, Amber Zuniga will start us off. She wants to know, with your busy performance schedule, how do you find time to practice and learn new music for upcoming roles and concerts? Does it ever feel overwhelming?
Never, no. I'm never, ever, ever overwhelmed, never. No, that never happens to me. I feel I have grown to accept being overwhelmed as sort of a general state of being. So when I start to feel overwhelmed, I know it's really bad. We were talking about this a little bit this morning, actually, the singers and I. We have to, in a way, it's like we're running 4 different businesses at once. We have to understand the tax system of 20 different countries, or maybe 6 different countries. We have to understand how to take financial care of all this stuff that's coming. How much should we reinvest in the career? How much should we save? How much is that a right price for a voice lesson? I have to find a voice teacher in London. I don't know, blah, blah. That's a huge thing. We have to understand how we're promoting ourselves. We have to be preparing for things years down the pike. I have to make decisions on what repertoire is going to be working in 5, 6 years. I have to be maintained the current repertoire that I'm doing, and I have to keep in shape, and I have to keep my voice healthy and rested. I love what I do, but the big thing is organization, learning when to say no. And I think one of the things that really continues to motivate me is putting my energy into things I love and am really passionate about. Then the energy seems to come. I've gotten much better about going off the grid when I need to. And I do that now without apology. I used to be like, oh, I'm so sorry. No. I go off the grid when I need to. I think maybe the biggest part of that equation for me is making sure I'm very protective of my passion for what I do and the joy that I find in it. It's very, 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 unfortunately, very easy for the joy to get whittled away, especially for young artists, and a lot for the artists that are on the fringes, the covers, the understudies, the people that are working at a level that doesn't quite feel fair, the people that are overworked, underpaid. It's really hard to maintain the joy and that reminder of what we do. If it's hard for somebody like me doing what I do at the level I do it, there's something wrong with me, but I work very hard at keeping that joy alive and infecting other people with it, whether they want it or not. Because I like to work in an environment where people are happy to be there, And I think that's one of the things that is maybe the biggest helps for me. Yeah. Hello.
Hello. I was wondering, with regards to all the detailed technical work that we had a window into today with the phonating and legato and vowels and breath and spin and release and all that, how would you, as a younger, less experienced student, go about doing that when you're working by yourself and know what to work on without the benefit of an outside ear, without the benefit of a Joyce DiDonato standing beside you, giving you the fine tuning?
Yeah. Do you know, I have the benefit of taking lessons and things. Thank you for the question. I go on YouTube and like I watch Gerald Finley and I watch Renee Fleming and I pick up like, oh, right. Renee Fleming said, I was watching her class and she said something like, oh, when I'm really doing well, I feel like the back of my neck disappears. And I went, oh, how come I've never heard that? I like that. I want the back of my neck to disappear. And so I'm a perpetual student and I'm always hunting for things that give another light bulb, another layer. I'm rarely learning anything new. The process of a singer is remembering what you've forgotten. And sometimes remembering what you forgot when you were an infant, because they have it all figured out in terms of sound production. So it's a matter of trying to go back to the beginning, literally, and figure out how to find a free phonating sound that can go on for hours and hours and hours, like they do. But if as a younger student, well, I wouldn't necessarily have known to do this, but I would go back now and do it. I would get the Czerny of voice exercises, the Marchesi exercise. I would get a really good exercise book, and I would start at square one, singing a whole note. And I would tape myself, and I would listen to it, and I would be paying attention to what I feel. And then I would go and I would watch some more classes. You know, there's what's that YouTube video where there's Marilyn Horne and Joan Sutherland and Pavarotti talking about bel canto technique. I watch that all the time. I'm like, oh, right. Yeah, so I'm constantly putting that information back in mind. Because the second you go to the piano and go, you forgot everything. You do. And then you get it, and then you go to the next step, and you forgot the first step again. So it's constant just coming back and reminding. My favorite thing to do still is to vocalize. I mean, not my favorite thing, but I love to vocalize. And so it's those kind of vocalizing things. And then I would take out an anthology thing and I would sing something that's entirely inappropriate and just sing it. And be Leontine for 5 minutes. And then not sing for a week, but then come back. Because that's the other thing, you know, this kind of work, you see how precious it is, how detailed, how refined it is, but then at some point you just gotta sing. And that's important to remember as well. And to let it be terrible. And then let it be a little less terrible. And then you'll get excited and you'll try and repeat it and it'll be worse than the first terrible. So you just know that it's a moving target as well. Yeah, but those kind of pedagogic. What's the other one? The Garcia handbook. There's a better word for it. I can't find right now. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
I have a comment and a question. I want to say that you're an amazing teacher, and that's really rare to find in someone who's also a consummate professional like you. So that was very special. I hadn't come to these before, so. And my question is, because you're such a good teacher, do you ever teach people who are not professionals that could get so much from talking to someone like you?
Not directly, but not for lack of desire. I mean, I would love that. And I know there are some programs, actually, I've talked with people that sing in choir. They're not professional, but they love singing, or they used to sing when they were young and all of that. And I would love to do that. I just don't have the time. Go back to my first question. And so what it ends up doing is, how can I have maximum impact and maximum sort of coverage in a way? Because what I try to do in my teaching is also lay it out in a way that it could apply to anybody. And so the people that can't be here today can watch it and like I
meant to say that I learned so much just sitting here and listening to you.
Ah, fantastic. Thank you for that. It makes me happy. Hello, hi.
Sorry, you're amazing, so thank you.
Thank you.
But my question is, I'm a novelist and a clarinetist, but I find that my novel side doesn't always transfer to my clarinet side. So as a singer who gets to work with words and music simultaneously, do you have any advice on how to tell a story without words?
Where does your mind go when you're playing the clarinet?
Trying not to mess up playing the clarinet. Yeah.
That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
That's your answer.
Yeah, so just
You
don't
know,
think
where
about
does your
yourself.
mind go when you're writing a book?
Kind of nowhere. It just does. I just sort of empty out. Yeah.
You empty out and it's coming, but what's coming out?
Words. I don't really
Story.
think about them.
Emotions? So you write
Yeah.
what the people are feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What do you feel when you listen to music?
Emotions. Yeah.
So just in the very privacy of your own thing, play with color.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is me at 13 years old, right? This is me at 13. You know, I don't know, it was a symphony coming out. It was Wagner's Ring, although I didn't know about that at the time. And it just was every emotion, every tragedy, every love, every unrequited at 13. Eric Firkinoff, it was all about you. Just kidding. He's very happily married now, it's all good, but it was all about him. Oh my God. Eric. Yeah, anyway. Go in and you need to turn off that voice inside the head that's making you try and be right with the clarinet, you know, and play with it. Do what you want to do, which is have your soul be revealed through that, right? That's what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you just have to do it.
Thank you.
You have the answer. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just you need to give permission.
Thank you.
Let me know how it goes.
I will. Thank you.
You don't have to post it on YouTube, but. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. My question for you is, you mentioned taking liberties and being the conductor. Have you ever had a moment where you and your conductor were at odds? Like you felt a flourish here, and he's like,
Yeah, you know, I had one unfortunate production that I just knew we were never going to get there. And it was a situation where the conductor was playing from the harpsichord. Oh God, so this was a long time ago. And I went up to the first violin and I said, "Can we talk?" And I actually worked my way down to the front of the stage in the performance a little bit more, and I made the concertmaster kind of go with me. Not the whole show, but in certain moments that was clear that we were not going to find an agreement, and we were very far apart in terms of musical priorities and theatrical priorities. So I found a way around that. I've had a few instances where the conductor has been very strict, and it's not been my taste, but they've convinced me about it, and I could understand it in the scope of the arc of the whole piece. We get very protective about our big phrases that we love, but you also have to remember there's a 3-hour evening going on, and oftentimes sometimes the conductor will have that arc in mind. The majority of the time, the great collaborative experiences that I've had have been, "Oh, that is a good idea. Oh, I hadn't thought of that," on both sides. But in order to pull that off, you have to know the score as well as the conductor. Yeah, and you have to know where you're speaking from. And you have to have a really good idea. I'll give you an example. So I was doing Don Giovanni in the Royal Opera House with Sir Charles Mackerras, okay? And he sent us along a score with every arpeggio he wanted articulated. from either above or below or no arpeggio in all the recitatives for Don Giovanni. It was meticulous. And when you get that, you think, oh, better learn this. But there were two that I didn't agree with. I'll never forget this. Charles. So we go in, it's the first day of the rehearsal, and of course we're all like peeing our pants because it's Sir Charles McCarris and it's Don Giovanni, right? He's been doing this for decades with the greatest of the greats singing it. So we all sit there, it's like the first day of school, and you're there, and he has the score in front of his table, and he doesn't even look up. He's not conducting, and he just sort of basically like, go. So we start, and we're singing, and he stayed that way for a long time, didn't say much. But it came to the appoggiatura that I did from below, and I sang it like him, but we stopped. And I said, Maestro, can I ask? I said, why do you want this from above? Because blah, 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 blah. And I said, could we try it? Who are you? What are you doing, Joyce? But I said, would it be possible to try it from below? Because I think in this point, she's really demoralized. And it feels more positive if I go from above. And below it somehow feels like she's really much more demoralized about what she's finding out, or whatever the reason was. And he goes, yeah, try it. And we did it. And he goes, I agree. The second one, he didn't agree. But he had his reason, and we talked about it, and we discussed. Because what you want is to be in total harmony so that there's no orchestra pit. There's just the theater that's coming, which is music theater, you know? He went on to not conduct for about a week and a half, and I started getting nervous because we were in stagings and he still wasn't conducting. And I said, why aren't you conducting? And he goes, well, I'm still finding out what your voice wants to do. And then, when he finally did that, it was the easiest Mozart I've ever sung. And it was justo. Because he'd been listening. Now, some of the things were faster than I expected. Some were a little slower than I expected. They weren't my tempi. They were his tempi in the context of that perfect arc that he created. But he knew how to do his vision with what I was bringing to the table as a conductor. Yeah. Don't be afraid to talk to them. But make sure you know how to make your case as well. And make sure that you're with them, you know, that you are as good a musician as that first violin. Because if you drag, if you rush, if you're not prepared, you don't really have ground to tell the conductor you'd like something different, you know? Make sure you're as good a musician as that first violinist. Then they'll give you the world.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So you guys, thank you. Just a quick thank you so much for coming. I know we were live on the Carnegie Hall website. Thanks for tuning in, everybody from Medici across the world. Thank you all for being here. Thanks for the playground. We loved it. We felt great. And we'll be back tomorrow from 4 to 6. And I can announce next year's dates. Wait, can I? Is it 12, 13, 14? 12, 13, yeah. April 2019, whatever. April 12, 13, and 14. And for all the singers watching, we're going to probably start accepting applications in September. But you probably won't send them in until December. I know. But we'll get them in, I think, December or January will be the deadline. So put that on your calendars. Start preparing your 2 arias. Send them in. And thank you all for coming. Let's bring the singers and our fabulous pianists. Thank you, guys. Beautiful. Thank you, guys. Let's go to the ball.